Tom Hardy has become one of the most widely recognized and well-liked actors of the last and current decade, having appeared in a plethora of popular and iconic films, and his skill as an actor has been more than proven, though to me his most interesting and best performance still remains his portrayal of Charles Bronson, not him, this dude, in the 2008 biography titled Bronson. The film was directed by Nicholas Winding Refn, then fresh from his Pusher trilogy, and 3 years away from making his most acclaimed and recognized film, Drive. It revolves around the real-life person Charles Bronson, now named Charles Salvador, who is often considered one of Britain's most notorious prisoners, and one of its longest serving, having spent most of his 72 years of life in prison, first for armed robbery, before elongating his sentence by his various violent antics while behind bars, including attacking prison staff and fellow inmates, protesting atop a prison rooftop for 3 days, and taking multiple prison staff members and inmates hostage, his infamy further cemented by various artworks and published writings. The film is an experimental biography, lacking an overarching plot and focuses on several points in the man's life. It is an attempt to capture the man's personality through both his actions and the various dreamlike and animated segments that show how Bronson wants to be perceived. Refn intending the film to be about the man as an artist and celebrity, equating his breakouts of violence and disobedience to artistic pursuits. The film as a whole is great, its stylization is appropriate and not overused, its cinematography is fittingly grimy, with some shots being suffused with noise grain that adds to their appeal, instead of detracting, and the film's depiction of violence is unrelenting and brutal, all of it coming together in a comfortable 1 hour and 30-minute runtime and enhanced by an 80s synth score that includes some classics of the era. But the glue that holds the whole thing together is Tom Hardy's portrayal of the film's titular character. It was a role that he really dedicated himself to, building his impression of Bronson using recordings of the man, and by calling and meeting him in real life, all while getting assistance from Bronson's friends and family on set. And his transformation was not just through his cadence and speech, but also physical, Hardy spending 5 weeks to build the brawler's body that Bronson had, doing so through intensive exercises before and during shooting, and by doubling his caloric intake, finishing off his metamorphosis by shaving his head and growing Bronson's iconic mustache. The result is a career highlight, Hardy completely transforming himself into this human avatar of violence to such an extent that I never felt I was watching the actor. One of the key ways Hardy portrayed Bronson was through his voice, imitating the man's cadence and raspiness.
Charlie here, Charlie Bronson, 2009.
My name's Charles Bronson, and all my life I've wanted to be famous.
But another was through his posture, often both animated and stiff, or during certain scenes where Bronson had to exercise restraint, showing the character trying his best to maintain his violent urges. This gives the character a sense of naivety, like he is some overgrown, muscled-up child with severe anger issues, which makes him very endearing throughout much of the film. That is not to say that Hardy is not terrifying, for when he needs to show just how scary Bronson would have been to some people around him, namely prison guards, he does so with gusto.
Get on my fucking back now, rub it in, you slag! Go on, rub it in. That's why we ain't go all day.
Then there are the brief segments where Bronson speaks directly to the audience. They're to show him as a showman and artistic performer, during which Hardy hams it up to 11, providing some of the most fun parts of the film.
When do I go back? Now, Mr. Peterson, we aren't going to start up all that silliness again, are we?
And fun is a key word for why this performance works, as just showing Bronson beating people up and getting beaten up is not entertaining in and of itself. What truly makes this film and its lead performance is the ecstatic glee that Bronson feels while inflicting violence, a major part of his character being that he enjoys his time in prison, seeing his cell as a hotel room within which he can indulge his need for brutality, and this glee is so infectious that you can't help but feel captivated by him, even though he is a monstrous person. And that is why Bronson has what is to me Tom Hardy's most interesting and to this date best performance. And it is a film that any fan of Hardy or anyone who enjoys character studies of troubled individuals should watch.
But time stops for no man, ladies and germs, and my time was coming up.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then please leave a like and maybe consider subscribing for more videos like this.